Welcome to Democracy 2.0. And as we were talking about with Wayne Bouchard, I was talking about with Wayne before we got on camera is why, and see if someone can answer that. Why isn't it 2.0? Because we're talking about numbers. And Wayne said people say 2.0. But anyway, welcome to Democracy 2.0 with Wayne Bouchard as our resident expert. And I'm Malcolm Berman. And you're seeing this on malcolmpresents.com, which is a streaming portal to the new world of podcasting. Very good afternoon, Wayne.
Good afternoon, Malcolm. And I guess that last, whatever you want to call it, diatribe about democracy 2.0 versus 2.0 convinced me that, it's a very popular title. I think somebody wrote a book called Democracy 2.0. So I have been counseled to change the name to something less, I guess, common in terms of everyday
Democracy
speech.
what about Democracy 1.1?
Well,
What's the beginning course? Is 1.1 or
1.0.
one or
All right, Malcolm.
anyway, do you have anything new to talk about this week?
Well, the big news of today is that, and I figured we'd get this up and over with right away before we go on to the other big news of the week.
Which is?
Nancy Pelosi made it official today. She's retired from the Democratic leadership of the House of Representatives.
Right, yeah.
And I believe her, the thing is that if you're in the majority, you have the Speaker of the House,
right,
and you also have the majority leader, party majority leader, and you have the party whip. So you have three people in leadership positions, and I think all three are going to retire or step down from leadership positions.
They're not retiring
from Congress.
Right, yeah, but Nancy Pelosi will still represent the San Francisco area.
Correct.
And the thing which I hate is that Kevin McCarthy says we fired Nancy.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
He is he is not going to be a nice guy. So the Republicans, as it stands now, have 218 seats in the House, and the Democrats have 210, and that makes 8 of them up for grabs, or 7 or 8. I'm not sure which.
I think you need 219 to control it, or 218 to control it.
218. So there'd be 7 outstanding seats, right?
No, I don't know. I've lost count. I mean, to me, elections were always in the old days. You knew the results, by the next day. Now we don't know the results till January.
And we have computers.
Now we have computers, and I don't see why it takes so damn long. And if I was a Trumpite, I'd say that's because they're getting all these illegal ballots in.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
The mail-ins are the things that screw it up. It's all these mail-ins from illegal aliens that we're importing from Venezuela.
And they may even be just aliens. Period.
Aliens,
extraterrestrials.
Well, that's easy
with our elections.
So
there's a Democrat in the House, and I know absolutely nothing about this guy. Be honest with you. His name is Hakeem Jeffries. He's 52 years old. He's a Democrat from New York. And apparently he is going to take over as the minority leader of the Democratic Party.
Isn't he Muslim, or the first Muslim?
I have no idea. Have no idea. He could be
Hakeem
an
Jeffries.
illegal alien for all I know.
Well, let's see. Let me Google.
Yeah, you do that while I
Talk.
yeah.
Because
Of
I
course
don't leave any dead
we
air.
can we can talk about Trump's announcement
Did
or
did you wait? Did you see that?
no,
Fox
I
was
did
the only,
not.
that's Fox was the only station that carried it live.
Yeah, I thought Fox was ditching the guy, but
No, actually, Rupert Murdoch said some weird things about him. I think uh, Lawrence O'Donnell was saying there was a little insert in the New York Post that was
oh
sort
yeah,
of a knock on.
Florida man makes announcement.
Yeah,
That was a definite slam.
yeah. But they're not ditching me yet. I've learned one thing with Donald Trump.
Don't count him out.
Right. That's a big mistake. I never thought he'd be nominated, much less win the election. That was a total news to me. Hakeem Jeffries.
Well, Trump's,
Yeah.
he's got somewhere between 30 and I think 35% of the base of the Republican Party solidly in his camp. That means that and this is not something that I originated. I'm going to
Yeah.
plagiarize this. His great promise to his all of his followers is that he will liberate them from all consequences. There will be no consequences for anybody's actions.
Yeah. By
And
the way, Hakeem Jeffries is not religious. Yes, the assemblyman is a practicing Muslim and grew up in the Cornerstone Baptist Church.
so is he a Muslim or no?
Muslim, yeah.
Why is he affiliated with the Baptist Church then?
He probably didn't grow up to be a Muslim. He might have converted. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to go into the details about him at this particular time. No, I've heard his name, but I don't know anything about him or of what he
Nor do
represents.
I. Yep.
But he's I think it was only 54. So I like what Pelosi said. It's time to give the reins over to a younger group.
Yes.
True.
And AOC seemed to be happy, sad to see Nancy Pelosi go as leader, but happy that they were going to turn the reins over to the next generation.
Right. But the thing that
The torch has been passed to the
Torch has
next
been passed.
generation.
Just watch out you don't get burnt.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, getting back to the honorable Don, the honorable Don,
The Don.
the Don. I saw his speech. And again, Fox broadcast, Fox News was the only one that carried it live. The rest of the stations sort of gave excerpts from it, but Fox did it live. I find it kind of hard to listen to him without turning off television or throwing something at the tube.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like he says, his whole speech is sort of like lies, sort of exaggerations, sort of like the country was the best when he was there. That we didn't have the problems when he was president.
The best ever.
Yeah, best ever, and that. He doesn't. The whole speech is knocking the other party, knocking the other people, and I'm so tired of that.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of either party, the Republicans or the Democrats, saying how evil the other side is versus saying the positive sides, what they want to do.
Right, right.
And now that the House is going to be controlled by the Republicans, it seems everything they're talking about is how they're going to get these oversight committees to investigate everything. Nothing's going to happen in 2 years. Everything is going to be an investigation. They're going to bring back, probably who shot President Kennedy and do research of it. They might even go far back as, who's really responsible for killing Lincoln.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's going to be Benghazi is going to be over. They had this whole thing, the connection with Hunter Biden. They
Yep.
don't say anything that they're going to do. Okay, how are we going to end inflation? How are we going to lower the gas prices? How are we going to do this? How are we going to get better relations with Russia? How are we going to get better relationships with China? What are we going to do about North Korea? They don't talk about anything.
No. I think that's one of the reasons why the election was so close, is because they did not have a clear-cut, concise plan on how they were going to accomplish anything. All they did was criticize the Democrats for, the poor economy, inflation, and COVID.
Screwing up the pandemic.
Right. And it was Trump that screwed up the pandemic. But
Well, the pandemic, I think we all screwed it up a little bit, but
mhm.
it was nothing. And it's like this thing now, they blame the Democrats, but it happens to be that Biden's in, well, not control, but Biden is the president, but it's a worldwide inflation. It's not
Correct.
the inflation. It's not only in this country and the rest of the world is prospering. Everybody, and we're one of the least inflated countries.
And that's not that's not relative to them, because they don't feel like that's going to get them any votes. And the fact that the Russia invaded the Ukraine, and that's the primary cause for a lot of a lot of this inflation, plus China's total lockdown during the pandemic, and we were held hostage, and we're so responsible to Chinese companies for products that we were left here with no product, and the supply chains have just been destroyed.
Well, I think that's a mistake of big business that they let all that
Yes.
manufacturing done outside of this country because it was cheaper at that point.
Not only was it cheaper, but they had this manufacturing process that they referred to as just in time, JIT manufacturing. And that meant that on Monday morning, you would have just a lineup of trucks at your loading docks bringing in the supplies for the current week's production. You didn't keep anything in a warehouse. Manufacturers did away with warehouse because, now they didn't have to pay warehouse taxes, inventory taxes, not warehouse taxes, inventory taxes. So,
well, they didn't have to hold. They didn't need this. They didn't have to have the space.
Right. They didn't have to have square footage. They could devote that square footage to extra production. And it worked great until it didn't work. And now we see a lot of American companies. Well, just one example that everyone can relate to is that Apple is having trouble getting iPhones from China.
Yeah,
they don't have a facility in the United States, or for that matter, in anywhere in North America or South America,
or the world,
that puts together, iPhones.
Well, the computer chips. I mean, that was everything works on computer chips, and we had none. I think 80% was made in Korea, South Korea, or Taiwan,
China, Taiwan.
And why the hell American business let that out of control is I don't know. No one ever explained that to me.
because it was cheaper and it added to their profitability. Therefore, the stock price went up and they were rewarded with higher bonuses
Right. And
and stock options.
and so much for the trickle down economy.
Right. Trickle down economy doesn't work. What was that guy's name?
Ronald Reagan.
No, not him.
No,
He was president. That was not his own personal.
oh no, I don't know the economist
Yes.
that did trickle down, but it doesn't work because corporations don't trickle it down. They keep it. They have sticky fingers.
Right. They buy back stock.
Yep.
But the guy who was the head of
No.
Ronald Reagan's economic plan that introduced trickle down economics.
No, you're not Yiddish, but we call them putts.
Yeah, he wrote about 5 years ago that the whole economic theory was a dud. It didn't work.
Yeah.
So he admitted it. I'll have to look up his name.
Yeah, I don't remember, but Reagan is the one that popularized it. No,
Yes.
no one ever reads books by economists.
Oh, I do.
Well, you do. But you ran for Congress.
There's a there is a French economist today, Thomas Piketty, or something like that. Has some very interesting economic theories and philosophies.
What are they?
His whole thing is the biggest problem we have in the world today is
People.
no inequality, income inequality.
Yep.
There's far too much wealth. There's far too much wealth up here in the stratosphere, and nowhere near enough in my checkbook. I'm not sure about yours, but mine is could use a jolt.
Well, I'm always hopeful.
Always hopeful.
Oh yeah, that one day I'm going to be in that top 1% of 1%.
Oh, okay. So therefore, you don't want them to be taxed.
No, I mean I have I'm ambiguous about that. I have mixed feelings. The thing what I can't see is like we had a thing on the in California about property, an addition on property sold, property tax. I forgot what it was, but this would only apply to people who sold houses over $3 million. I don't know about you. I don't know well, I know a few people, but I don't know that many people that own homes over $3 million.
No.
In Los Angeles, that's pretty common. Every other house you go there is $1 million.
Yeah.
But the property value is completely, my area is completely out of whack.
Speaking of Los Angeles, I understand you have a new mayor.
Karen Bass is just after a week, I think she finally they declared her the mayor, and she was outspent. I think the thing was Lawrence O'Donnell said 11-1 for every $11 that Rick Caruso spent, she spent one. So I think he spent about $110 million
of his own money.
To her $10 million, $11 million. Yeah, he could afford it. And I don't know whether, well, you should know that. Is that a tax deduction? Is that a business expense?
No, you can't deduct all of that.
But you can deduct part of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling, hotels, but anyway. And one of the things I didn't like about him is because he, it seems like he was buying the election. So I'm glad that. Well, I voted for Karen Bass because I thought she was that he was more of the old-fashioned type of the law and order. Let's get these people off the street.
Right.
Let's get them into jail where they deserve to be. And there's a certain amount, I don't know if I agree particularly with Karen, but there's an in-between thing. There's a little too lackadaisical in enforcing the law.
Well, one of the things that we have to come to grips with before we can ever deal with this crime issue is there, in my opinion, there are two issues. One is mental illness. You can't cure mental illness by putting people in jail, incarceration. And the second thing is addiction. I think there are probably very few police departments in the country that would say anything any differently than 80% of the people that are incarcerated are addicted to, drugs or alcohol.
Yeah. Well,
Or
that's
some combination thereof. And we refuse to do anything about it because there's no magic pill. You can't give somebody a magic pill and say, here, take this pill and you will no longer be addicted.
well, the thing is, which I feel, which will reduce a crime, the addiction doesn't cost a crime. The cost of the addiction does, because the addicts need the money to buy the dope, to buy the narcotics. Now,
they do stupid things.
yeah, but now if you have a system where narcotics would be free and they would have centers that the addict, anything, that they're addicted to, whether it be heroin, whether it be marijuana, whether it be cocaine, that it was free for them to go, that they had to come in, that they could register. And in order to get their dosage of narcotics, they'd have to see a therapist or some sort of specialist on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis or whenever they needed to buy the drugs. And they were given the drugs, which in and of itself is cheap.
But that still wouldn't resolve.
It wouldn't necessarily resolve the addiction, but it would resolve the need for them to commit crimes.
It would resolve the need for them to steal in order to get drugs. However, it wouldn't do anything about what goes on up here.
Right, that's why they would have to see the therapist.
Yeah, and it probably requires them to see, some sort of a treatment program, a rehabilitation program that would cost far less than incarceration, by the way.
Right. Well, except that the people who incarcerate, the ones who operate the prisons, a lot of them are private. That
Correct.
the state and the federal government, I don't know the federal government, but the state are paying the people who own the prisons for each for each prisoner. So they really don't want this to happen. They'll lose.
They'll lose all that revenue.
Right. As someone says, and also the people who are involved with drug enforcement don't want it to become legal because they'll lose their jobs.
Correct. That's another problem. So
and the thing is, I mean, drugs are pouring into this country, whether it be because of what's happening now with the lack of border control, or whether it happened before there was a lack of border control, the smuggling, because there's a great profit for illegal drugs to come in.
As long as it's very profitable, then there's going to be a lot of crime involved.
Right. So if we cut out the profitability of it, I think and treat the addict, I think it would be a way. It may not be solve the problem,
but it sure as hell would be a better, a better start than what we have now.
Right. It would be, and people say, "Oh no, we can't have legal drugs." Why not? Would you think it would increase if drugs were legal? Do you think there would be a greater amount of people on drugs?
I think you have to wean them off the drugs.
I don't know. Are there more alcoholics today than prior to prohibition? Prohibition caused people to be more alcoholic.
I don't know the answer to that. I do know that there are more alcoholics than there are, people who are addicted to drugs.
Yeah. Well, look at any TV show. a movie or with young people, and you see the cool thing is for them to come in and drink, either
Yeah.
at bars or at parties, or to get and at one time this was, you know, when before smoking was banned, smoking was a cool thing. If you see
Right.
the old movies before they banned the cigarettes, you saw everybody in the bar having a cigarette. I mean, my thing was, you know, I used to drink scotch, and well, I still do scotch and soda, but I had a cigarette in my other hand. One hand was a drink, and the other hand was a cigarette. And if
Correct.
and if you look at all the pictures, all the movies from that period, everybody was smoking. In fact, there's a scene. I think the movie was Now Voyager with Betty Davis and Paul Heinrich. I don't know if you see the scene, but Paul Heinrich lights up two cigarettes when he smokes. He lights up two cigarettes and gives the other one to Bette Davis. I was doing that for years afterwards with my girlfriends.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was cool. That was definitely a cool move.
Yeah, and but now you don't see the cigarettes, but you see the drinking, and I always
Yes.
object to that. I mean, I see them. That makes, oh, look, it's so cool. You have to have a drink in your hand, some scotch, and or whatever your drink is, wine or cocktails.
It's
Okay.
involved in everything today.
And as a matter of fact, we have a party coming up, and it's and the guy is 39 years old or 40, and it's a tequila party.
Mhm.
Everybody brings a bottle of tequila, and I guess they do tequila tasting. But my thing is, if you're driving a car, how the hell are you drinking tequila? Because I know not everybody's going to have a driver taking them back and forth.
Well, that's one of the things that Uber has helped solve is people just take an Uber.
Right, but that's for short distances. In Los Angeles, everything is a long distance.
That's true. That's
And
true.
in Los Angeles, the next place you go is a half hour away.
Hmm.
And if you lived in Manhattan, when I lived in Manhattan and I would go drinking, well, I didn't own a car, but I get into the taxi and say, take me home.
Hmm.
And, you know, but so maybe it was like, you know, a 10-minute ride. Because everywhere I lived on 90th and Central Park West. And, you know, I'd be drinking the west side or the east side, and I was right near home. But over here, if I got into a cab in Beverly Hills and I live in Sherman Oaks, it would be $50 at least.
Yeah. Well, DWIs are definitely impacting drinking.
Well, not even the DWIs now, the traffic accidents are so much more frequent, and traffic deaths occur more frequently.
I think that's a combination of drugs, alcohol, and texting.
Yeah.
I can't. It amazes me how many people text while they're driving.
Ooh. I mean, it's hard. It's hard enough driving in this traffic if your full attention is,
Have you ever been on the phone? You know, you got a hands-free system, so you got both hands on the wheel. You're on the phone. You're on the freeway. You're driving. You're talking on the phone, and you drive right past your exit.
yeah.
And you know where you are, and you know which exit you're supposed to get off at.
Well,
And
the thing,
it's just that you're not focused on the driving aspect of it. You're focused more on the phone call.
or talking, yeah. Well, even when they have people next to you and you're talking, it's a very similar type of things because we're going now at faster speeds. It's
Yeah.
I go the speed limit, you know, and the big highway here is the 101 or the 405. I'll go 55 miles an hour, and I'll be like in a center lane, and I'll have cars buzzing by me like I was standing still.
Oh yeah. I'm
They're
surprised they
going
don't run you
75,
off the
80 miles an
highway.
hour at least.
How fast?
75, 80
Yeah.
on the freeway at a 55 zone. Because I
Hmm.
say I'm going 55 and they're buzzing by me.
Yeah.
The modern day life, either I'm getting old or I don't know. Yeah, as I say, in my days,
Yeah. You're getting old.
yeah, I mean, my horse couldn't go that fast.
Right. Right. We're all getting old.
But
So
anyway,
last but not least, before we have to sign off today, NASA finally got their Artemis rocket off the ground.
Oh, did they?
They finally yesterday, I believe.
Oh,
So, and one of the big differences, and I'm not sure that most people understand this, is, the plan is to colonize the moon, and then that'll be the launch pad for Martian expeditions, so the rockets will be sent from the moon to Mars, not from Earth to Mars.
That would be like the Wells Fargo station.
Yeah, correct. Good analogy. I like that.
You change your horses there.
We should tell NASA about that.
Okay, maybe anybody in NASA watching the show, please call us. It's malcolmpresents.com. Malcolm presents at gmail.com. Excuse me.
They could have a new rocket called the Wells Fargo rocket.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if you watched the old series Wells Fargo with who is it? Dale Robertson. Sometimes it's like on now 4 o'clock on the oldie station. And I used to watch it all the time when it was original. I'm getting that old. I see reruns. Anyway, speaking about reruns. Are we going to do the show next week at Thanksgiving?
I say we take the day off.
I think we should take the day off. We could do it Friday if you want, or we could do it Wednesday, but not Thursday. Well, we have time. Let me know.
Let's play it by ear. If the world comes apart somewhere, maybe we want to do a show, but
we'll consider it. Again, okay. but not Thursday at this time. We could do it Wednesday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday, or we could take the week off.
We could do Thanksgiving 2.0.
Yeah. Of course, we're going to get all these people calling him. I don't want to. You're the most important show that I see during the week.
Yeah, right.
Well, if
start giving them quizzes.
Yeah, listeners, if you want to, or watchers, if you want a show next week, let us know. Right, send email.
Right.
Or call up.
Call up Malcolm. Don't call me.
Anyway, if I don't speak to you before, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay. You too.
Next week or beyond.
Enjoy. Have a happy.
Bye.
Bye.